The Arch Publications Podcast.
You're listening to the Arch Publications Podcast, and today I've come to a beautiful building in Congleton, which is called Overton House, and you've probably driven past it. It's on West Street. There's a banner outside advertising for vacancies for the business that's based here, and that business is Crossroads Together. Today I'm talking to Louise, who's one of the managers from Crossroads Together. Just give me a quick idea of your job within the business.
So as a manager, we're responsible for the care team, so the carer support workers. So the carer support workers are the frontline staff delivering hands-on care to service within the building in the day centre, but also out in the community as well. So on a day-to-day basis, I'm allocating calls, I'm rostering them against staff's availability, having really good communication with the staff, with the clients, making sure everybody has everything they need for the day. They know where they're going. The work's all within their availability as well.
So tell me a bit about Crossroads Together, how it got started as a business.
Crossroads Together, if you remember back in the 80s, there was a TV show called Crossroads.
Yes, there was.
So actually, it came from the TV series.
Oh.
And it was all about friendship in the community and giving something back. And that was our starting ethos.
Wow.
And so since throughout the years, we've developed on that focus, and we've now become a partner with the Carers Trust as well alongside.
So how long have you been going for them?
So since the 80s. So,
right.
Yeah, so we're 40 years in business now. Yeah.
Wow. I bet the people who own it have seen so many changes in the industry.
There's been so many changes in the industry, and there's been so many changes within the sector as well, and so many different changes within the regulations and the safety measures that we have to achieve. But what's important for us is we've always got the carers and the staff at the heart of all the decisions that we do.
So just give us an idea of what Carers Trust is then.
So Carers Trust is a nationwide organisation that provides advice and support to unpaid carers. So they're family members delivering care, and they're not necessarily always recognised for the work that they do, but they're really the backbone of our care industry because they're providing care at home to their family and friends as well.
Yeah, I actually do shopping for my neighbour because she has support funded by Cheshire East, but they don't pay for that. She's bedbound. So I'm not quite sure how it would happen without somebody stepping in and doing that bit.
This is it. Sometimes people end up being a carer and they don't even recognise that they are a carer, whether, like it said, helping for a neighbour, popping up down to the local shops, picking up prescriptions for an elderly relative, and even going in to have a cup of tea and a chat. That is a care service. You know, it's a befriending service as well.
How long have you as a business been in this building then?
In this building, I think since 2010, I think. So it's about 12 years plus around then that we've been in the building for. And there's been many changes within the building. Originally, we didn't have a day service here, but the day service then did come on. So our bottom floor is actually a day service for adults, so over the age of 18 as well.
Oh, right. So what happens during the day service then?
So during the day service, the clients come in. It's a chance for them to integrate with other people of a similar disability as well. It's a chance for them to experience activities away from the home environment, but safe and sheltered with staff who are fully trained to meet their needs.
Can anybody come to that, or do they have to be referred?
So anybody can self-refer in, and they can privately pay to attend the day service. We also accept referrals through social services as well for adults as well.
Do the carers have to be with people, or is there kind of an opportunity for carers to have a bit of respite?
So that is the main thing. It's for carers to have respite as well, but we also have a lot of clients from supported living. So even though they're in a supported living environment, it's an opportunity for them to come away from their residential setting into a daycare setting. And we have staff here fully trained and all the medication, the moving and handling, the personal care. So all their care needs can still be met safely within the building at the same time as them accessing activities.
And is it a different age group every day, or how does it work then?
No, it's a total mix, and we're really open. We welcome adults from all forms of life with all forms of disabilities as well. We welcome adults with specialised task training. If we haven't got the staff that are trained, we'll go out and look for the training in which to prepare our staff to manage that client safely.
You have this building here in Congleton. Do you have other locations across the UK?
Yes, so we do. So we have a base over in Manchester as well. We run an extra care facility over in Manchester, which is similar to supported living. We run a lot of children's activities in Manchester and in Wirral as well. So Manchester and Wirral, we run the short breaks contract for Salford Council and for Wirral Borough Council. That's from children as young as 2 up to the age of 18, or with complex needs, challenging behaviours and disabilities as well.
Obviously, we do need to discuss the elephant in the room, and that is the issue at the moment with not just yourselves, literally across the board. It's across the board, isn't it? And it's recruitment. Why do you think people should come and work for you would be a good question, because what makes you special for people to come and, get trained and things like that?
So I think Crossroads is really unique in the services in which it provides. I think when people typically think of dom care, they see rushing from house to house, meal preparation, getting people up in the morning, things like that. That's not what Crossroads is about. Our ethos at Crossroads is caring for the carer.
Yeah.
And so the services that we deliver are based around the carer, more respite care and things like that. So typically our calls are no lot shorter than 45 minutes, whereas normal dom care could be 15 minutes. So it's a minimum 45 minutes. You give time with the client, you stay, you have a chat, you have a cup of tea. But the majority of our calls are 3-hour blocks. So
right.
That's 3 hours in which you're going into the home. You might do an activity or you might go out into the community with them as well.
Would it involve lifting and what did you say?
Safer handling.
Yeah, and domicile care, which I'm assuming is like bathing and things like that.
It is. So that can be part of the calls, but it's not necessarily the crux of the calls. So our staff take on the role of the carer, and any form of care that they do for the cared for, we can do as well as part of the call.
So how did you start in care then?
So myself, I came into care working with children with disabilities because my son has autism.
Okay.
Going through the challenges that I went through, I knew other parents would be in the same situation, and that was how I found Crossroads.
Wow, so you were a service user first.
It was through the short break service, and I had other people that I was familiar with in the service. Yeah, so that's what I started with way back when I was a support worker.
Well, you look very young, so it can't have been that long ago.
I think, and the organisation is one for progression as well. It recognises the staff. It really values the staff, especially in some of the areas. We've actually got grandparents, mother and children who work for the organisation. So I think that just shows how much of a value we do value our staff when they come.
So have you had people who've been here for not 40 years, obviously, but a lot of that time?
In my area, I have got a grandmother. Her daughter is my supervisor, and then her daughter is one of my support workers.
That's amazing. So if people wanted to come and work for you and apply, how would they do that then?
So there's lots of ways in which they can apply. Look on our website, Crossroads Together. Lots of information about the services and what we provide there. Also, lots of links to different areas, Manchester, Liverpool, Wirral, and Congleton and Cheshire East as well. You can telephone us on the office number as well. You can send an email. There's lots of links on the website.
Do people have to have experience?
No. We welcome everybody from every walks of life to Crossroads Together. Even if you've got no training at all, but you've got life experience, you don't even have to have life experience. Even if you just want to give something back to your community, we will prepare the staff and train the staff for the role in which they need to do.
And what does that training involve?
So initial training is all done face-to-face, and we train them on every single aspect that the role could entail. So that's your first aid, your medication, your safer in handling, person-centred care, how to communicate to a client, given, cultural and diverse techniques as well.
And is it a long training process or is it on the job?
So it's 3 days initial face-to-face training, but what I really like is on the 3rd day, you have a one-to-one with your line manager and you go through all the clients in which you'll be supporting, and you actually get dedicated person-centred care techniques based on the clients that you'll be working with as well.
What do you think are the barriers at the moment for people coming to work in this industry?
I think at the moment there's lots of barriers out there. There's an uncertainty within the industry as well. Nobody knows in which way it's going. The pay sometimes can put some people off as well because they think I can get the same type of money in another industry. I think with ourselves, we pay well above the national minimum wage.
Okay.
We're really flexible. We work with our staff, and that's one thing that we do pride ourselves on. We recognise that everybody goes through difficulties within the home life and circumstances. We're able to change and adapt based around personal experience. We welcome staff, not just full-time staff, really flexible, even if you just got a couple of hours a week and you want to come on as a bank worker.
Right,
that's something we can look at as well.
So if someone just wanted some extra cash and wanted to give something back, they could do that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, so we can look at flexible contracts, part-time contracts, full-time contracts, bank worker contracts. We are really flexible in what we're able to offer.
And because you talked about progression, obviously you've progressed through the business.
Yeah.
What sort of progression are we talking about then?
So as a standard carer support worker, when they come on, automatically after 6 months probation, they're offered an opportunity in which to take their diploma. They start off at level 2, health and social care, and then they can progress up to a level 3. Once they've gained the level 3, there is opportunities to become what's called a senior carer support worker, and they would mentor the new carer support workers as they come on board as well. They'd also be responsible for supervisory duties, doing spot checks with staff as well, going out into the homes and doing reviews and performance reviews with the clients and their families as well. And then after that, we've got other avenues that we go down. We have carer services. They may go into a different aspect of the business development and things like that as well.
Oh, wow. So we talked about you pay above minimum wage. Money's not everything though. So what's the joys you get out of it?
I mean, my personal joys are not something that you could measure. Mine is all about the smiles on the carers' faces. And it's about the children when they're able to do an activity they wouldn't been able to do before because of their disability. But from a carer support worker's point of view, there's so many benefits from working from us. We're part of the Blue Light scheme through the NHS as well. So they can get discounts.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
In shops, restaurants, everything like that. We have an employee assistance program. So we offer mental health support, wellbeing support as well. We're part of a credit union as well. So if somebody's struggling financially, they can get advice and support that way.
So do you see the business growing anymore into different areas over the coming years?
Yes, definitely. We've just recently merged with an organisation called Tavida, and that's actually going to take us across pretty much the length of the country.
Is that another care agency?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's another network partner of the Carers Trust. We've only just recently merged in October, so we're still marrying all the parts up together. But I think it's going to be very successful and be able to benefit a lot more carers across the country.
The Carers Trust, is that the charity part of the business?
Yeah, it is. So the Carers Trust is about the charity part of the business, and it's also an avenue that we can signpost carers down into other ways of getting support as well.
Do you have to be engaged with your service at Crossroads Together to engage with Carers Trust?
No, not at all. People can go directly to Carers Trust, and through them they have other network partners that people may use as well.
So ultimately, if someone is caring for somebody at home, or like you said, a neighbour or another family member, and they're maybe finding it a bit stressful, or they may want some support with services, they can contact you and you kind of lead them through to Carers Trust, who would be able to point them in the right direction.
Yeah, that is. Also through ourselves, if we feel they need more formal support, we can refer through to social services. We can get a carers assessment. We can get the financial assessment done for them. So we can work with carers step by step on every process.
Crossroads Together have both people funded by the local authority and private clients, do you?
Yeah, we do. So there's lots of different funding routes that they can go down. We have specific contracts that are funded by the council. So that's actually at no charge to social services and no charge to the client. It's a council funded contract that people can refer into. People also can get direct payments from the local council, which they can use to pay us.
Right.
And then we would be able to provide the service for them as well.
Tell me, what is your favourite thing about working for this business?
I think my favourite thing would have to be how responsive we are, how out of the box and dynamic we can be for solutions, about the smiles on the families' faces and just giving something back, and how the teams all just work together. We really look after each other, even though we're a work environment. It's more like a family environment as well.
I do hear that again and again and again when I speak to care agencies. That's why I touched on the fact that it's not all about the money.
No.
The pleasure that people get from working in that environment. Because I've mentioned to you before, I do shopping for my neighbour and I work full time, and I really enjoy doing it because I get to go round and sit with her and talk to her, and I forget about everything else that's going on in the world, and we just have conversations about, she's not got the internet, so she's not like bombarded with different messages. We just have really simple, enjoyable conversations, and it's really joyful to have that time with somebody.
I think that's one thing that our staff members will always comment on. Even though it's a work environment, we have regulations that we maintain. We have our care plans and risk assessments. A lot of the time they don't feel like they're coming to work.
Yeah.
Because it's a one-to-one service with the clients, and the bond that they get with their clients as well, even though they're doing the formal note keeping and record keeping and everything of the day's tasks. There's not many jobs that you can get paid to go to Chester Zoo or Alton Towers.
No, can I come?
And this is it. Sometimes there can be a slight bit of jealousy from the manager's point of view when we see our support workers going off to Alton Towers, Chester Zoo and places like Blackpool to see the lights.
Oh.
And they're getting paid to do it, but they are doing a job that's really important, because those people with disabilities may never have got that opportunity unless they were supported safely by our staff as well.
So just to be clear, your carers, you have carers that look after older people, carers that look after adults with disabilities, and carers that look after children.
Yes.
So when people come to work with you, do you just put them where you think they're best suited?
It's not necessarily what's best suited. We do with our staff, every year we do what's called a competency, and that we know staff all have areas that they're more fluent, more confident in, more better at working. We always match the staff with the client. So we take the best attributes from the staff and we take the client's needs, and then we match them together. Not everybody gets on with everybody, and we know that. And if the staff come and say, I'm really not comfortable, I'm not happy doing this call, we'll work to change and put them in a different call as well.
When you're a carer and you're out working in the field, if you like, how do you communicate with them?
So we have, all our staff have a work mobile phone.
Okay.
It's really savvy. We have a couple of apps on there, so we can have one-to-one communication from the office direct to the field without picking up the phone.
Right.
So we can send messages, we can send alerts straight to the staff's phones that will go live as well. So if they've got changes in the rosters, like you receive in a text message, they'll get a message that comes through to the mobile phone to let them know that something's updated. But the thing I most like with our staff as well is when they're lone working in the community, if they need support, they can get through straight away at the press of a button,
right,
without having to even pick up the phone as well.
Okay.
So there's always good lines of communication. If anyone ever needs support, we're really responsive.
So your challenge for 2023 is to try and level out the demand with clients to getting the staff in. So I just hope that something is put in place with the government to help you support that, because it's we've got such a high employment rate at the moment. It's really difficult. I wish you all the best for that, because there are people in the community who are desperate for services. I'm assuming you've got a waiting list with clients, have you?
We have, we've got an incredible waiting list across the board in all sectors at the moment. But there's an awful lot of people that are out there who aren't accessing services as well.
Who don't know about them?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
They need to access the services, and they do need help and support. And to those people as well, I'd say pick up the phone.
Right, and just phone you and you can point them in the right direction.
Or the Carers Trust, speak to them directly. There's so many carers out there who aren't getting the support that they need, and we would just say to everyone, pick up the phone.
Don't suffer in silence. Yeah, I agree. It's been amazing talking to you. And this building is absolutely absolutely beautiful. It must be over 100 years old.
It is. It's a Grade 2 listed building, so all the fixtures and features are actually the same.
The fireplaces are gorgeous.
Fireplaces in every room. The clients really, really love it because it is, even though they're coming into a day service setting, they're coming into a home from home.
I noticed you've got some benches out the front in the really beautiful garden. So in the summer, do they sit outside?
Yeah, so they're able to sit out inside, even though we're a day centre facility. They're not restricted to staying in the building as well. They can go out into the community with support. They go out for local walks as well. We also have a bike that comes in, so the adult with a disability can sit on the back of the support worker, and then there's another worker pedalling at the front. So so there's rickshaw bike, it's called. It's lovely.
Oh, like the ones on the BBC?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's cool. So is the parking available here for people?
Lots of parking available, totally accessible for wheelchairs, anybody with disability as well. So we have the ramp as well. The building's totally secured as well. It's a pin pad entrance point, but there's always a staff member available on the door to meet and greet.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you very much for spending the time talking to me today, because I know you're really, really busy and you've come all the way over from Liverpool. The Wirral. I really appreciate that. And good luck for 2023.
Thank you very much for having us.
Business Insights with Arch Publications, hosted by Katy O'Regan.